Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for the 4 o'clock news and politics show. I've got someone who's been in the news quite a bit this week, as we've written about on GoLocal. Reynaldo Amante with Latino Public Radio, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
To tell the story of what is taking place right now, along with Rhode Island Public Radio, looking to take the signal out from underneath you. And when you found out this was going to happen, you're basically battling for your life here for the existence of Latino Public Radio, with Rhode Island Public Radio saying, well, we're going to look to take the signal back. So talk with us when you knew that this was in peril, that, oh my gosh, they could actually do this.
Well, by December 7th, we figured it out that this can happen. We approached them to start all over the negotiation. And to today, I'm still waiting for an answer.
So when technically could you go off the air?
Saturday at midnight.
And what have you been hearing from folks in the community about this happening?
It's a lot of people angry in the community because they're going to lose a station that give them the news, educational programming.
And so talk with us, back up a little bit more. Go back all the way to the beginning. You're wearing all the hats. You're president, you're CEO, you're general manager, because this used to be a more group effort, if you will, to get this and said this is why the community need this. So talk with us about the beginnings of your involvement with Latino Public Radio.
The station started in 1996 with Wheeler School. It was 88.1 FM. We brought into the radio a lot of community leaders. And it started growing over the year because the quality of the programming that we put them on. And
talk with us, the then switched to 1290.
Well, about 6 years ago, Rhode Island Public Radio need to be in the FM dial because public radio typically is on the left-hand side of the dial. And it was a three-way partnership to do the switching. We're supposed to be collaborating and working together. Never happened for 6 years, but I mean, they do the English part of they do the English version, I do the Latino version of the radio, and now, after 6 years, they decided that, yeah, you guys can purchase the radio. We agreed to a price, and everything fell through in December.
So talk with me. There's some $40,000 here that the down payment was made, but what's happened? You've made the effort to be able to put a down payment to make this still viable.
The station had to put a down payment to buy the frequency. They were selling it to us for $400,000, and they got $40,000 down payment.
Okay, so if you've made the down payment, again, why is Saturday still looming?
No, the down payment was to purchase the radio station, not to pay for anything or to purchase the radio.
So to purchase a station, but walk back again the 6 years, because this is one of the things you talked with GoLocal about. You said it was supposed to be a partnership, that they were supposed to be working together with Rhode Island.
Some collaboration, yes, between the two organizations. Let's say some community programs, some local news, if they cover some event, maybe we can share information. That never happened.
Did you want to see that happen? Did you try to make that happen?
Well, it's up to them if they want to make it happen, man. We were doing the best that we can with the kind of staff that we had. I mean, a small radio, but we cover every news around the whole state.
Oh, I see you out all the time. If I'm in the press corps, you're in the press corps. You are there. So how much of a void would this leave, again, to have this simply go off the air?
Well, it's going to be a loss for the Latino community because it's the only news radio station that provide all the information. I mean, we had 3 other stations on the market, they're all commercial, but for news and information, Latino Public Radio is the place for the Latino to go and enjoy and listen to the news.
And so you've now gone to elected officials. You brought the story to GoLocal. You've approached the governor's office, approached the attorney general's office, and specifically with the AG, that there's something in place that a nonprofit can't be sold to a commercial entity.
Well, a non-profit radio station.
Yes, specifically.
Yep, and The good thing about it is I didn't start that. Rhode Island Public Radio did it to defend itself from Boston University because Boston University wanted to sell the station. Patrick Lynch, the Attorney General, intervened, and the state legislature passed a law in 2005 giving the authority to the Attorney General to approve the sale of public radio. And they use it. Now I'm going to use it, and they're getting mad at me. They don't want me to go to the Attorney General. Sorry, I mean, the law is there. You have to sell it to a local public radio. We are the only one. There's nobody else.
There's nobody else to say.
Nobody else.
Is this, in your opinion, just a money play, a money grab?
I think it's a money grab in the power because I asked them, give me the 10-year opportunity. It's $400,000. You divide it by 10 years, it will make the radio sustainable. But when they heard that from me, they become radio silence. Complete, not calling me back, not responding to my email. Every time I ask for Tarwi, oh, he's in a meeting, he's out, he will call you back. Even last week, when the news broke, I called, oh, he's not here, he's not around, he's traveling, but he was talking to the other reporter, not to me. I mean,
and
they
so
don't want to talk to me.
Again, $400,000, and I mean, you went back to, the days at Wheeler, but it's 2018. The Latino community in the state has grown to such a degree. I mean, when you go to the AG and you go to the governor, I mean, how can you say these are your constituents?
That's right. But they have to be worried because it's an election year and it's a voice that all the politicians use. Even the police department, every organization in the state go to Latino Public Radio to send information out. And they know the importance of the radio station for the community. It's something that the community is worried about it because if we lose Latino Public Radio, we're going to lose something big in this community.
So, Ronaldo, what are the next steps?
Well, the next step is asking Rhode Island Public Radio because they say I never approached them. I'm here. You guys have my phone number, or you can call GoLocal Crowd, or you can call the Attorney General. We schedule a meeting. The deal is we give you the $400,000, 10 years, the same opportunity that you have with Boston University to pay for your station 10 years. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, I don't see nothing wrong. Sit down and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So as you said, you like to be behind the camera, but here you are in front making the case again, $400,000 to be able to get the station Saturday midnight. I mean, that's a short time frame.
Well, it's a short time frame, but if they're willing to give something to the community, they can say, Renato, let's make the agreement, 10 years, it's 40,000 plus every year, and you have the station, the same way you had the station from Boston University. I mean, help the Latino community. Don't be hiding behind that word, call me. I've been asking for a meeting for the last 4 months, and you guys don't reply to me.
Well, you've reached out to elected officials, reached out to the AG's office. We're here on Wednesday. We're going to continue to write this story, report on it. But Ronaldo, I appreciate you taking the time to come in and talk about it because I know you've got reporting to do.
Yeah.
I'll let you go around the corner and we'll welcome our next guest here into the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I want to just thank again Arnaldo Almonte for coming in from Latino Public Radio. Again, this is looking at Saturday to potentially for Latino Public Radio to go off the air. He's making his plea to Rhode Island Public Radio with whom they have the arrangement for the station, $400,000 over 10 years. He is going again to the AG's office because, as he mentioned, law was put into place to help public radio to have a nonprofit not be sold to a corporate or for a profit entity. We're going to continue to follow this here at GoLocal. But don't go anywhere. We've got a very important story. You might have seen a little bit of controversy over the Rosa Parks house. We have the artist and her niece here in the studio. Don't go anywhere. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. I would like to welcome my next guest here into the studio, Rhea McCauley, Rosa Parks' niece. You might have seen in the news the controversy surrounding Rosa Parks. The house that is currently here in Providence was set to be displayed in conjunction with Brown University until Brown University pulled out. Rhea, tell us, you just came from an event over at the Waterfire Center where the house is. We've got the artist Ryan Mendoza who will be on next to talk about his role in it. Did you imagine you would be standing here with the press having to talk about what happened and why this controversy erupted and where things are? What was your reaction when they said, from Brown, when they said we fear a legal battle here? What was your reaction?
I was disappointed. I really was disappointed, and then I was angry, and I ran the full all the range of emotion, and I got on the first thing smoking to come out to Rhode Island. So here I am.
Here in Rhode Island to talk about the house. Talk with us about the project, about your remembrances. You've done so much press telling, what you recollect of this house. And more importantly, the importance to you and letting folks know the story. I mean, this goes way back to showing up here at a battle in Providence. Let's bring it back to the rehabilitation of the house, going to Germany, working with Ryan, bringing it to the people. Let's talk about the importance of this to you as it fits into the bigger picture of history.
As it fits, my first reaction, the gut reaction, is always the best. I could only think that Brown missed a great opportunity to show this wonderful historic property, and that's what it is. I still feel today it's a missed opportunity, seeing Brown's history with slavery and that type of thing. I really feel like Brown should never have ventured into these waters if she was somehow scared or, cowardly. Auntie Rose was never a cowardly person. She shared everything that she knew with everyone. And I can't tell the people of America how much she's loved in other countries. And that's a shame of it all. When I came back to America, I did not frankly, I was surprised at the vitriol because it's been open and on display for over a year in Berlin. In Germany, we received nothing but love. We come back home and we are faced with this vitriol and this disappointing news. I'm so disappointed.
Did you have conversations with folks at Brown? Did this come to you third hand, and to that add to the consternation that you felt when you heard this news?
Oh, it added to the disappointment because I heard just like everybody else heard, in the paper, it was in the news here in Rhode Island. Of course, I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I said, I cannot believe it. The unmitigated gall, to say that something of significance and importance is just being wiped off and taken away from Providence, Rhode Island. Now, when I left Michigan, I was happily impressed with the people that I've met here. Some of the best people in the United States live in Providence.
Well, I'm glad you've had that warm reaction from folks who've, I'm sure, come out to see it again without the connection to Brown right now. And talk a little bit about the battle. I mean, your aunt had spent time in this house, but there's legal channels trying to where's the battle coming from?
I'm just like you. The family is like, what battle? What battle could possibly come from such a positive event? And now it's such that Brown expects for us to pack up yesterday and ship it back to Berlin like Auntie Rosa is somehow a German hero. No. Brown University. America made Auntie Rosa. She's here to stay. She's not a Chinese hero or a German hero. She's an American hero. So get over it.
And so you just came from a press event. Talk with us a little bit. What now for the house? Because again, Brown was going to be just one piece in the ability to show it throughout the country. There are other opportunities. So what now?
Well, we are actually in limbo because of Brown's cancellation. She's forced a cancellation of everything that we had set up.
So now moving forward, this set up a domino effect.
It was a domino effect, and it kept going and kept going, and people were calling in, well, we don't want to be, involved in any dispute. And the family is still saying, what dispute? People, nobody is going to bite you. Nobody. Come out. It's free. Free. Just come. Park your car. Walk into the gallery and you'll see for yourself the house is not going to attack you. We're going to have food. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to have poetry. And I even said, what's wrong with poetry? Can somebody tell me what is wrong with poetry where someone like Brown would be offended? I don't know.
And talk with us. It's 2018. There's this battle here, but this is really about your aunt.
Yes.
It's really the legacy of 2018. You talk
Yes.
about why do you think her life and legacy resonates, especially, again, all over the world, having
Yes.
been from Germany, having gone over there. Why do you think it has such a resonating effect so many years later now?
When we were over in Berlin, I seen grown men, and these are big men, not little tiny men, cry, tears streaming down their cheeks as we were discussing civil rights and we were discussing Auntie Rosa's legacy with them. What can I say? This is a teaching tool. This is a historic moment, even as we stand in it, because history will say that Brown University was trying to make repair on their bad history with slavery. And this is what they do to a lady like Rosa Parks. When Auntie Rosa was arrested and she had to go to court, there were people standing on both sides of the stairs. And one little child said, they mess with the wrong one now. And I think Brown messed with the wrong one now.
And again, 2018, we see where things are in the country as they are currently. It's just as important now in 2018 to be talking about Rosa Parks' legacy as it's been in any point in the civil rights movement.
Yes, yes. Auntie Rosa always said that we take 2 steps forward and 10 back. I think the harm that it does by getting rid of such a discourse in the Providence community is that, look, we're handing over this country to these young people, and we're saying to them, well, yes, Emmett Till was murdered, and guess what? We're still murdering unarmed black people. Please, police officers, please understand what a cell phone is and what a weapon is. My hairdresser, she has to have more training than an officer that we put out on the streets with a gun, with tasers, with what do they call those things that they beat people with? Nightstick, billy clubs. Please, if the people are not qualified to hold that weapon, please get them out of your police force. Please understand, start off with a cell phone is not a gun. Understand, police, that you are not the judge, the executioner, whatever that is. You know what I'm trying to say. You're not those people. It shouldn't take 2 seconds before you take someone's life. That should be the last thing that you do, is murder.
So here we are, again, I keep going back to where we're standing now, what things are next, but talk with us a little bit about the house itself, because as you mentioned, folks can come and see it.
Yes.
It doesn't take a large institution to put a wrench in it, but it's still there and it still can be seen. Talk with us about working with Brian and that putting it into the state. I mean, this is needs a lot of love and care.
It does, and
so how did it get from the U.S. to Germany and back again, and you're being there and overseeing it? I mean, this is a huge undertaking.
It really is. It really is. We dreamt huge. We thought about not only women in the civil rights movement, but the American history that's been missing. When Auntie Rosa came over here, her life was incredibly hard. She was both homeless and penniless. And the house can show us, it can take us back to the 1950s, because if we don't know our history, we're doomed to repeat it. So, this is actually a tool. It can be a learning tool. It's an educational tool so that our children are not making the same mistakes over and over and over.
So I'll get Ryan's story when he comes in here because he plays an important role here as the artist. But how did you and Ryan connect?
We had friends. Ryan was working on a local project within the city of Detroit. Detroit was busy demolishing and destroying everything. And so I'm talking about historic homes. Historic homes that with the architecture that's beautiful, just destroying it. And so Ryan came in, he wanted to save one particular little house. And the city of Detroit gave him such vitriol until it's like, oh my goodness. So our friends knew Ryan was working on that, and they knew that I was looking for someone to restore the home. So then we matched up, we met, we talked, and I said, well, the family wants this and this and this. And so Ryan said, well, this is what I can do. And the rest is history.
And
I'm so happy.
And so, you know, how much time did your aunt spend in this house? What's your, you know?
You know, that's a good question. Forever. You know, with a family member, someone you love, it's not like, oh, from 9:45 to 10 o'clock, she ate oatmeal with peaches. It's a continuous line. So Auntie Rosa was there for my graduation, the birth of my kids, my going to college, my teenage years when I knew everything. So she was there. You know, I don't know how to say the timeline was seamless. You know, it's all together for the family. It's not chopped like, can you prove that Rosa Parks was here at 9:45 at 2 p.m. and what did she do? And so I said, look, if my father was her only sibling and she was his, even if she opened the front door and put her little teeny toe on the inside of the house, she was there, people. What is so bad about poetry? What is so bad about having this house come home? Once again, an American hero, a true hero that did something for the rest of us. If the people in the United States could travel outside and see how other countries view her, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion. You'll be asking me what is my favorite color.
I would have been there at the huge opening, but right now, because of the limbo, but people can still come.
People can come.
So as you said, it started the domino effect, and I'm going to get sort of the nuts and bolts of the moving in the house and what people will see. And I know you said it started the domino effect. What's your hope now moving forward?
I really and sincerely hope that she can find a home within the United States of America. Somewhere on the soil, there's someone that loves her that much where they can protect her, they can share her history, they can use it as a teaching tool. Now, if we can't, then of course we will have to return her to
How
Berlin.
much, I mean, I'm going to get the story from Ryan, but that is an undertaking. And so before I bring him out because he's around the corner, when
Yes.
you matched up with him and you said, this is a good fit, let's work on this together,
Yes.
you said the family had certain stipulations.
Yes, we
and
did.
What did you want to see when you said, okay, take a deep breath, we're going into the unknown here, we're taking it to a new location, hopefully around, what was it the family wanted?
Well, of course, you know, you have to realize that this wood that we are taking it loose, we're deconstructing and reconstructing was from 1936. Now the area where the house was, the elements got to the wood. They got to all facets of the house. So when Ryan saw the house, it was literally crumbling in his hands. He has actually saved the original flooring from 1936. He has saved the banners, the handrails that you hold going upstairs. He has saved the original stairs. Those stairs are from 1936. So, yes, every time we touch her, every time we move her, she's crumbling just a little bit.
Okay.
You know, we've had wonderful talent, you know, to preserve the home, and I'm so looking forward to everybody coming out Saturday at 3 p.m. so that they can share in the moment, because even if you don't realize it, like Auntie Rosa told me when I was little, her and Dr. King didn't know they were making history.
Yeah.
They just felt like they were doing the right thing. And if we could get that one lesson across to young people, do the right thing. Don't remain silent when you see atrocities and the wrong thing being done. Speak out. If you can't do anything else, you can speak out.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come
Thank
speak
you.
with us in
Thank
studio. Rhea McCauley, thank you so much. I'll let you go around the corner, and
Thank you.
I'll welcome in Ryan.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rosa Parks' niece, Rhea McCauley, again about the controversy surrounding the house, but it is here in Providence, and it is going to be open to the public on Saturday. Ryan Mendoza, come on over. I appreciate you taking the time to come in today.
Sure.
Take a little step closer.
Yeah.
And want to tell folks your story. We talked a little bit about how Rhea got in touch with you out in Detroit about this house. And how, let's start there before, because I want to hear how one moves a house from Detroit to Germany and then back to the States again. But give folks a little bit, take a step back about what you were doing in Detroit at the time and how you connected with Rhea.
Well, I was particularly fascinated. I was in Berlin, and I was an expatriate, 20 years an expatriate. Now it's over that, 26 years.
Huh?
And looking from outside, it's easier to have perspective. And I looked at the map of the United States as if it were a patient on a table that had some problem, some ill, and it needed a surgery. And it looked like Detroit was this very hard-hit place in the United States, and I gravitated towards it. And what was born out of, in my kitchen, at the kitchen table, born out of an idea of bringing a house from Detroit to Berlin in order to save the memories, the childhood memories of just a family. It evolved into actually realizing that there were very important houses that needed to be saved. And this was the most important house I could ever imagine being involved in saving.
Have you ever moved a house before?
I did.
So you've got house moving history.
Yeah, I did. And the mayor of Detroit, I asked the mayor of Detroit if he would make some suggestions, because he has 80,000 houses on a demolition list.
Wow.
And I said at the time, this house I believe was still on the demolition list. Maybe it wasn't, but I believe it was. I asked him at the time, is there one house among these 80,000 worth saving? And he said no. His business being to use the
No worries, I know you're a busy guy.
yeah, I'm sorry about that. His business being, it's part of he's under federal investigation because he is, the demolition business in Detroit is very particular.
It's a business.
It went right sky high. So he was using this house was worth more to him to demolish it than to save it.
And so when you teamed up with Rhea and said, we can take this, and you wanted to bring it to Berlin, as you said, you had that outside perspective. To the average layperson, to a reporter in a studio, it just boggles my mind how one goes through the process to literally dismantle a house and bring it across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. At that point, I was much better physically. I recently had a stroke as I was working on the project. So I'm a little bit more cloudy. My mind is a little bit more cloudy, but I went up to the rafters and I took it apart. I took it apart piece by piece. It took 18 days to take it apart. It was a dangerous job, and nobody would have gone into that house because it was, the floors were sagging. The back wall was all but gone. The doors to the house had been taken off their hinges and put sideways, and they were screwed into the back wall. So, and I wanted to give the dignity back to that house.
And so when you had these pieces taken over to Germany, tell us about where it was in Germany, how long it took that reconstruction process, and then we'll talk about the reception when it was over there.
It took 6 months to reconstruct the house.
Wow.
And it was a winter, and I did it alone. I was underfunded. I had no funds, and it was also cathartic. And I thought, if somebody's going to get hurt, I'm gonna be the one getting hurt. You have to get up on scaffolding. And what's so beautiful now is, because I've been disabled and I can't do the work that I could once do. And to see youth build the guys from Youth Build, the young guys going out, and they've taken over the project where, you know, and it's a very emotional thing for me to see that, because Brown was against community outreach, and that's something that that was very perplexing to me, that they wouldn't want Youth Build to be involved in this project. But now that Brown is out of the equation, I asked Youth Build to be involved, and they immediately came over and embraced the project, and that's it's a small but important victory for me.
So, you know, I asked Rhea her reaction when she heard from Brown. Bring us back to that day when you heard. Did you hear from them? Because she said she heard third party. Did you hear directly from them or from other folks that they were going to be pulling out their support for this?
Neither I nor Rhea got a message about this directly from Brown before we read about it in the paper. So, you know, you have to know something else, that I wrote an article the day that the show was canceled and it was defunded by Brown. I had written an article called "The Rosa Parks University That Isn't." And it underscored the fact that in America there is no Rosa Parks University. We have a Thomas Jefferson University of Washington University. They were slave holders. There's no Rosa Parks University in anywhere in the United States. This article pointed that out, and I made a suggestion at the end of the article that Brown change its name due to its past and due to its, you know, the association with the slave trading Browns, that they change it to Rosa Parks University. The article was published in the morning of March 8th, and the afternoon of March 8th, Brown pulled the plug on the project. And not only that, in the comment section, there's a comment by Sylvia Brown, a direct descendant of basically a mixed bag of abolitionists and slave traders. Direct descendant was she left a very vitriolic comment in the comment section of this article, "The Rosa Parks University That Isn't."
And what did she say?
She's sticking up for the Brown name, and she was very upset about my commenting. The idea that the name be changed to Rosa Parks University was highly offensive to her.
Well, everyone is entitled to their perception and their opinion, and you know you're never supposed to read the comment section. So talk with us, bring us back to Germany, and when the house was over there, and the overwhelming reception. Rhea talked a little bit about it herself. Why do you think it was embraced to such a level in Germany when it was on display?
Well, the Germans have faced their past. And I remember many years ago, basically 20 years ago, you know, television has evolved a lot in the past 20 years, and there weren't so many channels in Berlin, in Germany rather, when I was living in Germany so many years ago. And I remember you changed a channel, it was something about the Second World War. You changed the channel, something. They had a propaganda machine, a re-education to set things straight from the atrocities of the Second World War. Their mentality now is, it's a very correct mentality. They're the most democratic people that I know, the Germans, today, and the ones that I know. And they have a way of approaching history which is to embrace and to try to understand the past instead of trying to run away from it. And in America, we are the personification of hypocrisy.
Well, I asked Rhea, you know, did she think we'd be where we are in 2018 in the state of where things are with civil rights and race relations? And she basically, you know, said no. How are we at this place in 2018? And that's how part of what you see is that Germany embraced the past, the United States just continues to not do so.
Yeah. I just wanted to, with this project, I just wanted to give the people the chance to make up their own minds as to what the significance of this house is. Mm. And we came so far, and the house is basically rebuilt. And it's painful to see that we have a shotgun to our heads, and it's an economic shotgun. Brown is saying, if you don't get it out of here now, we're not going to pay for the dismantling and the shipment. So they want it out of here at all costs, because it's obviously something that bothers them. I had intended for the Brown students to be the jury and for this house to serve as evidence in a trial held in a courtroom which was Brown University.
Mm.
And instead it's, you know, it's indescribable how the very act of pushing this project away is highlighting the very things that this project was trying to shed light on.
And so, again, you heard from Brown that day that you had posted and published your letter on the situation, and I just asked Rhea, as you said, they are trying to force you out, and there's economics here. There is, how is this going to stay there, be dismantled? What's the next move? Do you have any sense what's the next move?
Well, you know, Saturday is the celebration, and it's also a farewell. It is a house that is outcast. It is a house without a home. And I don't know if I want to stay any longer in Providence, because there are two types of people that I've met in Providence. The people who are afraid of Brown University and the people who aren't. And you have to remember, those who are afraid of Brown University, you have to remember that this fear is just a monster that's in your head. It doesn't actually exist out there someplace. So, and the donors, I would say, you know, you should step back into this project, because otherwise you will be associated with the people who are basically, how can you describe them?
Well, it's a almost indescribable situation of bringing the house to Germany back here with the anticipation of support that was pulled very quickly, unceremoniously. But the event is still taking place on Saturday.
One day to see the house, one day only. Saturday, what is it, March
31st.
March 31st, and it's a one-day exhibit. Incredible.
Well, I'm sure telling people come on out, see it, but wanted to have you in, have Rhea in to talk about your stories, as we've seen it in the news, but wanted you in here in the studio to tell your story. So I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.
I'll let you around to the corner. Ryan Mendoza, the artist involved with taking the house that Rosa Parks had spent so much time in, just talked with her niece, Rhea McCauley, bringing it to Germany, having it on display over there. The feedback that they got, they said, was overwhelming, brought it back here with the anticipation and backing of Brown, which no longer is there. But Saturday, as Ryan said, is the one day only, and as he said, the farewell. We'll have more links to the information about that on GoLocalProv.com. So appreciate everybody tuning in here to the studio. It's been a busy day. We were over in the Alex and Ani Lounge with Mike Laureano at 2 o'clock. You can check that out on Go Local. 3 o'clock, The Taste, focusing on Warwick dining and drinking. And of course, 4 o'clock, news and politics. I want to thank Reynaldo Amante from Latino Public Radio for coming in to tell his story. And of course, Rosa Parks' niece, Rhea McCauley, and American artist Ryan Mendoza, about what is taking place with this house that is currently here in Providence. So thank you, everyone. We wish you a good Wednesday evening. We will see you tomorrow up at the Rhode Island State House at 3 o'clock. Molly O'Brien will be back at 4 o'clock. So be sure to tune in to Go Local Live. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel.